In this video, we are going to be looking at spring tablescapes. We're going to see how we can match the surroundings and the season to your whole tablescape vibe. So let's get scaping. Hi, I'm Abby. I'm from the Knotted Napkin Company and we hire out our napkins all over the UK and Europe. I'm here to give you some inspiration for some lovely tablescapes. So if your event is in spring, does that mean that you have to have a traditional spring tablescape? Absolutely not. I encourage you to have a tablescape that you love regardless of the season. But if you love spring and that's what you want your tablescape to look like, then we're definitely going to be able to help you here. So let's build this tablescape together. We're going to go for quite a full look here today, but if you want a bit less, going for a more minimal look, then absolutely leave some bits out or put more in. If you want to add favors, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to start off with a tablecloth. The one that I would go for a spring shoot would be a neutral one, just like this, or any other neutral shade. I would try and avoid a crisp white tablecloth. People often like to just buy the cheapest tablecloth they can or hire it for their event because they think it's going to be kind of a big saving and it doesn't really matter. But I would say it is the canvas for your whole tablescape. And if you go for something that is white and it is maybe a polyester, which the cheaper ones often are, they are quite shiny and they're quite unnatural. So when you go in, you just see this sea of white. Even if you've got beautiful flowers on the table as well, you've got this really crisp undertone that sometimes just doesn't look quite right. So I would always try, if you can, to go for an off neutral. So the key to adding visual interest to your table is making sure you've got layers. I'm going to do this here by adding one of our table runners. This is in the shade MM01 and it's a beautiful mustard. So we're kind of going for a layered look. So we're going to be able to ruche this quite a lot on the table here. It's always a little bit fiddly. But these runners are really lightweight. So you are able to sort of really zhuzh them and create whatever tablescape you want. So if you wanted a really thin runner, just a tiny pop of color, that's something you can do. Or you can have it a bit wider and really play around with the texture. Another great way to add texture and interest is charger plates, and I am going to be using those as well. So here's some charger plates. These are a rattan, so they are going to add even more texture there. It's a simple way just to add a bit of height as well, because typically charger plates will have more of a rim and raise it up. So I'm just going to lay a single place setting now, just so you can have a little bit more detail on that. I would go for something crisp and elegant, maybe with a slight detailing around the edge, just so it's nice and clean for spring. And then I'd also do something very similar with the cutlery. Oh, nearly put it on the wrong side then. So yeah, if you remember, your knife is on the right hand side. Spoons are always tricky. I don't really mind where they go, to be honest. Obviously, usually they're at the top, but I often think that makes the top with your flowers a little bit too crowded. So I tend to lean to just putting them towards the edge, if you're having them at all. Again, with the glassware, I'd keep it very simple and just go for maybe cut glass or something very just kind of clean looking. And I think you have the opportunity with your napkin to do something a bit more fun, maybe adding in a pattern or another texture or color. It just, again, adds more of that visual interest. And that's the key, really. We want to be building layers so that when you come into the room or your guests come into the room, there's a feast for the eyes. It's not just flat, same colors, everything the same. You definitely want to have an element of interest there. So I love spring. It brings feelings of new beginnings, warmer temperatures, longer daylight hours, and growth. If I'm looking for a tablescape to embody spring, we first need to think about the color palette. To me, spring is all about your pastel colors, lighter colors and natural hues. Going for a refreshing color palette inspired by nature will always work. So think soft colors like blushes, greens, sky blues, light yellows, and if you're matching it with neutrals, it's just going to look perfect. For this tablescape, we'll be going for a yellow and natural color palette. I chose this scheme because to me, yellow is just synonymous with spring when you first see the daffodils coming out of the ground. And also because this color scheme can really easily be tailored to your color preference. What you would do is you'd keep all the neutrals in the palette the same and then just add your preferred color in a lighter and a darker shade. So we're using yellows, but you could use blues, pinks, and then this is going to be the accent color for your table. So you're only really going to be adding these colors into the flowers, the runner, and maybe the napkin. So it can easily be swapped out on a neutral base. So now we're going to go onto the center of the table. It's where we're going to have the most height in this one, and nothing says spring like flowers, especially seasonal flowers. So you can use things like tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, like fresh blossom is going to be a really great way to bring in that spring look. Also adding greenery is going to be a really great way to get in all those fresh shoots. Lighting is also a key element to the table, but it's often not thought about too much. I would say candles are going to be perfect for spring. It's going to really create a warm, lovely glow. It's going to make it feel really cozy, especially as if you're eating in the evening or late afternoon. We are not as bright as we are in summer, and the light is going to be lower anyway, so it's just going to create the perfect golden glow. So this is just one option for a tablescape for spring. Obviously you can tailor it however you want to your style, but I think the main things you want to keep in your mind when thinking of a spring tablescape is keeping it natural, fresh, delicate, elegant, light and bright. And you can create whatever you want to. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it has helped you and given you some inspiration. All of the contributors for the tablescape will be linked in the description below. And please subscribe and watch along for more seasonal tablescapes.